Tokyo Olympics are not going to go ahead with foreigners in participation. I mean, the outlook does not look great for the rest of this year, or would you disagree?
Right. I disagree. I think it's the market is coming back. Especially, we are very confident because of the experience we had in last year. May between April to June last year was awful and the worst, but actually market came back very strongly during the summer and fall. Even during this pandemic, we knew that the third wave was coming, but between the second wave and third wave, demand was very strong in the tourism industry in Japan. If you look at the total consumption, tourism consumption of Japan, and 50 billion US dollar value of it, 85% is the Japanese people traveling to a Japanese local destination. So we do have a huge market in Japan. The inbound is only 15%, but actually outbound was big. And outbound people are now coming back to Japan and visiting a Japanese destination. So really the loss of inbound was not, it was a growing market, of course, we want it, but it was not very big, the big damage during this pandemic period for us.
As you built out your plans for 2021, you have those new resorts coming online. Much of it was probably planned in anticipation of the Olympic boom. How bad does the dynamics around the Olympic delay and potential cancellation have on your business?
We can't have any foreign audience for Tokyo Olympics this year. I think Olympics is taking place, but I think the damage we have is mainly in hotels in Tokyo. We didn't really expect a huge volume of Olympic audience going to other regions of Japan during this 3-week huge event. So I'm sure that the city hotels, the many hotels being built in Tokyo during the last 3 years will probably have a very, very disappointed. And we are also disappointed because we do manage some hotels in Tokyo. But the rest of the Japan will not have any big negative impact.
You have 43 domestic properties and 3 overseas. I mentioned those earlier, Hawaii, Bali, and Taiwan, and soon to be China. What ratio would you like to see, and where next would you go outside of Japan?
Right. We are getting inquiries from many investors and real estate owners in Asia, but my personal goal is to bring the Japanese very traditional hot spring resort in North America, United States, Canada, maybe. There are so many hot spring resources in the United States, and we now know that they really like the Japanese cuisine and tradition and culture and hot spring experience. So we are specialized in that field. We don't want to they manage the regular hotels in other countries. We have to be some Japanese taste to go overseas for us.
So when will that be in North America? I would assume if you're talking about hot springs, you're talking about the Rocky Mountains, so Utah, Colorado, Idaho, perhaps into British Columbia?
Yes, we've been talking to the people who have interest in working with us as investors and real estate developers. The west part of the United States have so many hot spring resources, but the East Coast does have some hot spring areas. Saratoga Springs, very traditional, nice destinations near New York, Boston, the big cities. So those are the target areas we are now working on.